Murphy's Diner wasn't the kind of place you expected anything exciting to happen. It sat on the edge of town, halfway between nowhere and the interstate, surrounded by pine trees, forgotten gas stations, and the occasional billboard advertising. The world's best peach cobbler, which they did, in fact, serve asterisk for Jenna Hartley. It was a second home. She'd been working there since high school, off and on, taking extra shifts to help her mom with rent and trying to put away enough to afford nursing school someday. The diner had regulars, old men who drank coffee like it was medicine, couples who barely spoke to each other, and truckers passing through with stories no one believed. It was predictable, and Jenna liked it that way, asterisk, but that night, something changed. Asterisk, it was around 6:43 p.m. when he walked in. The bell above the door jingled like always, but it sounded sharper somehow, like it was slicing through the background hum of clinking dishes and crackling grease. Jenna looked up from the register and saw him tall, maybe 6'2", lean, but not lanky. His coat was too heavy for July, dark gray with a worn collar. He wore gloves. Even though it was pushing 85 degrees outside, asterisk, he scanned the room quickly, eyes never resting for more than half a second, before walking to the back and sliding into booth 7, the corner seat near the window. Half in shadow, half bathed in the warm gold light of sunset. Asterisk, something about him unsettled Jenna. It wasn't just the coat or the gloves, or the way he ordered only a black coffee with a voice so quiet she had to lean in. It was his presence, like he was trying to disappear while still needing to be seen. Asterisk, she noticed the scar right away. It ran from below his left ear down to the base of his neck, thin but jagged, like a line scratched with broken glass. He had no beard, no jewelry, no phone out on the table, just a worn leather notebook and a half-empty cup of coffee he barely touched. Asterisk, Jenna kept an eye on him as she worked. It wasn't intentional at first, more of a habit. She was good at reading people. Years of dealing with drunk uncles, angry landlords, and volatile boyfriends had taught her to pick up on things others missed. This man, he was on edge, twitchy, but not like a junkie. His eyes kept flicking to the windows. Every few minutes, he would shift slightly and angle his body to get a better view of the door. Asterisk, he was waiting for something, or someone. Asterisk, by 7:15 p.m., most of the regulars had cleared out. An elderly couple in booth 3 were slowly finishing their pie, and a pair of teenagers sat at the counter arguing over which milkshake to split. That was it. The man in booth 7 hadn't moved, and neither had Jenna's curiosity. Asterisk, she approached his table for a refill, clutching the half-full coffee pot like it was armor. Asterisk, top off, she asked. Asterisk, he didn't look up, just slid his cup toward her. Asterisk, sure, he murmured. Asterisk, as she poured. She glanced down at the notebook beside him. Name was scrawled on the cover in faded ink. C-row. Below that, a small drawing of what looked like a locket. Odd, she thought. He had drawn it over and over again on the cover, on the side, inside the margins. Asterisk, long night. She tried, keeping her tone light. Asterisk, he didn't answer. She waited, gave it a beat. Asterisk, then his eyes met hers. Asterisk, there was something in them that made her breath catch, not fear, not quite desperation, more like urgency mixed with exhaustion, like a man running from something he couldn't shake. Asterisk, he held her gaze for exactly 2 seconds, then looked down. Asterisk, Jenna walked away, slowly, every instinct in her telling her something was wrong. She tried to brush it off. Maybe he was just a veteran, or someone grieving. People came to diners for quiet all the time. Asterisk, but something about the way his shoulders tensed with every noise, the way his hands stayed clenched on the table, fingers twitching ever so slightly, made her stomach twist. Asterisk, she pretended to wipe the counter while watching him out of the corner of her eye. Then she saw it. He reached into his coat and adjusted something. A bulge under his jacket shifted. Not a wallet, not a phone. It was long, narrow, metal. Asterisk, her mouth went dry. Asterisk, a weapon? Was that what it was? Asterisk, she felt the blood drain from her face. Asterisk, she couldn't just accuse him. What if she was wrong? What if he was just cold or paranoid or carried a flashlight? But what if she was right? Asterisk, Jenna had a split second to decide. That was the thing about instincts, they don't ask for permission. They either speak up or they don't. Asterisk, she grabbed a clean napkin, slid a pen from her apron, and scribbled a message as fast as she could. Asterisk, if you're in danger, not once. Asterisk, she folded the napkin, walked over to the booth, and slipped it under his saucer. When she placed it back down, she didn't say a word. Her hand shook slightly, but she forced her smile to stay steady. Asterisk, then she turned and walked away. Asterisk 5 steps, 10. Asterisk, she counted them in her head, trying not to look back. Pretending to clean another table, she chanced a glance over her shoulder. Asterisk, he hadn't moved. Asterisk, then, just as she started to doubt herself, he reached for the cup. Asterisk, and as he lifted it, ever so subtly, he nodded. Asterisk once. Asterisk, Jenna's heart nearly exploded. Jenna had seen strange things in her years working at Murphy's Diner: fights, breakups, one guy who tried to pay in foreign coins and expired lottery tickets. But nothing had prepared her for the slow, cold wave of adrenaline rolling through her chest as she watched the man in booth 7 nod. Asterisk, it was so subtle that anyone else might have missed it, but to Jenna, it was like a warning flare. Asterisk, he was in danger. Asterisk, and now so was she. Asterisk, her instincts screamed at her not to panic. She nodded casually to the couple in booth 3 as she walked back to the kitchen, but her legs felt like rubber. The moment the double door swung shut behind her, she nearly gasped for air. Asterisk, Carl, the short-tempered cook who'd been at Murphy's since dinosaurs roamed, was flipping bacon and swearing at a cracked grill top. Asterisk, Carl, Jenna whispered, grabbing his elbow. I need you to do something. Now. Asterisk, he turned to her with a scowl. If it's about the damn cheese again, tell that kid out front. Asterisk, it's not. She cut in sharply. I need you to call 911. Quietly, use the back phone. Tell them someone might be in danger. Booth 7. Don't make a scene. Asterisk, Carl blinked, stunned by her tone. Jenna had never spoken like that before. She was usually soft-spoken, easygoing, but her face right now pale, urgent, serious made him nod without question. Asterisk, right, he muttered, wiping his hands on a towel. Asterisk, she watched him disappear into the tiny office behind the freezer, where the emergency phone was still wired to the wall. As the kitchen door slowly swung back open, Jenna steadied herself and walked back into the diner. Her heart thudded in her ears. Asterisk, but booth 7 was empty. Her pulse stuttered. She spun around. The man was gone. The coffee still sat on the table, steam curling faintly into the air, untouched since she'd refilled it. The notebook was gone. His coat was gone. Asterisk, panic rose in her chest. Had she scared him off? Had someone else seen the note? Asterisk, she leaned down to clear the saucer, hands trembling when something caught her eye. The napkin, folded into a small square and placed neatly where the saucer had sat. Asterisk, Jenna hesitated, then picked it up and unfolded it with slow, deliberate fingers. Asterisk, in the center, a message written in fast, all caps handwriting. Asterisk, thank you. Look under. Booth 7. Asterisk, for a moment, she didn't understand. Look under it? Asterisk, she crouched down, glancing around first to make sure no one was watching. The teenage couple had left. The elderly couple were busy arguing about whether they had enough room for pie. Booth 7's seat was empty, shadowed by the dim lighting and half-drawn blinds. Asterisk, carefully. Jenna reached beneath the booth's edge and felt something taped. There, smooth, thin. She peeled it off an envelope, sealed shut. Asterisk, she opened it with her nails, eyes scanning rapidly. Asterisk, inside was a flash drive, a photograph, and a small, folded piece of paper. Asterisk, the photo was of a girl maybe 11 or 12 years old, with thick brown curls and a gap-toothed smile. She wore a soccer jersey and was standing in front of a birthday cake. Jenna turned it over. A name was scrawled on the back, Eleanor Rowe, age 12, missing since June 5th. Asterisk, her breath caught. Asterisk, she unfolded the paper. This time, the handwriting was more rushed, the ink slightly smudged. Asterisk, greater than asterisk. Asterisk, her name is Elena. She's my niece. She was taken 6 weeks ago. Police say runaway. She didn't run. I have proof on this drive. People involved are dangerous, connected. I can't go to the station. Give this to Detective Marcus Keene, NYPD missing persons. Trust only him. Asterisk, they're watching me. I had to go. You saved my life. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Jenna stared at the note, the words burning into her memory. Her hands shook. The photo slipped slightly from her grip, landed face up on the booth seat. Asterisk, Eleanor's smile felt suddenly haunting. Asterisk, sirens wailed faintly in the distance, growing louder. Asterisk, Carl burst out from the back, phone in hand. Cops are on their way. What the hell's going on? Asterisk, Jenna couldn't even answer. Her mind raced, trying to make sense of everything. This wasn't some paranoid guy with a gun. This was something real. A child. A cover-up. A man on the run who had trusted her waitress with a note is shaky. Hands asterisk, she looked around. No sign of him anywhere. No car peeling away. No shadow outside. It was like he'd vanished into thin air. Asterisk, a black SUV pulled into the lot moments later. Headlights flashing. Asterisk, the officer stepped inside, one young, tight haircut, trying to look older than he was. The other, older, with a clipboard and a suspicious glare. Asterisk, Jenna stepped forward and handed them the envelope. Asterisk, what's this? The older officer asked. Asterisk, Jenna swallowed. Evidence. I think it's proof in a missing child case. He said to give it to Detective Keene, NYPD. Asterisk, Keene. The younger cop frowned. That's not local. Asterisk, he said. Not to trust anyone else. Asterisk, the two officers exchanged a look, brief, unreadable. Asterisk, will take it. The older one said, reaching for the envelope. Asterisk, was something that Jenna resisted. She held it tighter. You're not going to open it, are you? Asterisk, Mom, if this involves a missing person, it becomes official evidence. Asterisk, I want to make sure it gets to Keene. Asterisk, the officer's jaw tightened. And I want to make sure you don't tamper with something that could be vital to an investigation. Now hand it over. Asterisk, a tense beat passed. Then Jenna slowly gave it to him. But something in the pit of her stomach twisted. She wasn't sure why, but she didn't trust him. Asterisk, the officers left with it a few minutes later. After asking her to write a statement, she did, leaving nothing out, well, almost nothing. She didn't tell them she had memorized the photo. She didn't tell them she'd copied the name. Detective Marcus Keene. Asterisk, after they left, Carl came up beside her and muttered, you okay, kid? Asterisk, she nodded, even though her fingers still tingled. Yeah, just didn't expect my shift to turn into a crime thriller. Asterisk, Carl gave a dry chuckle, but she could tell he was unsettled too. The diner never felt big or important, but tonight, it was the center of something that stretched far beyond their little town. Asterisk, when Jenna's shift ended, she didn't go home. Asterisk, instead, she drove straight to the library, logged into a public terminal, and looked up Detective Marcus Keene, NYPD. Asterisk, he was real. Missing persons unit. Decorated for uncovering a trafficking ring 2 years ago. Known for blowing the whistle on corruption inside the department. Asterisk, and most importantly, he was alive. Asterisk, she found an email. Wrote him everything. Asterisk, then she attached a message of her own. Asterisk, if you're the real Keene, you need to know someone handed me evidence. The police here took it, but I'm not sure they're going to give it to you. The girl's name is Eleanor Rowe. Someone's trying to keep her lost. He trusted me. I'm trusting you. Asterisk, Jenna clicked send. Then she sat there in the quiet library, staring at the screen. Asterisk, outside, the night had thickened. Somewhere out there, a man was running, a girl was missing, and powerful people were covering it up. Asterisk, but somehow, it had all started with one question. On a napkin, asterisk, if you're in danger. Not once, asterisk, and he had. Asterisk, what came next would change everything.